everyone. Welcome back to the IPMA webinar series. We're so excited about what we've going on this week. We do have a little bit of bad news. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Martin James is not going to be available for this afternoon's webinar, so we've had to cancel it. We will reschedule this session at a later date and let everybody know. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. All right, everybody, get your question box open. I want to see some hellos and heys and good mornings because it is a beautiful day. Find your question boxes. Come on, I know you know where those are.
Do I click on everyone?
Nope. Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, get that question box open because for some reason I'm not seeing it. If you got it open. Raise your hand if you can hear. Okay, Vernon, I see that. Yeah, I can. All right, you know, ha, because the ones that aren't on here can't see. Yes, we're raising your hand if you're attending today. That's not going to help us very much. Okay, hello, Beverly, Courtney, Kurt. For some reason, you know why? Because, I don't have my question box.
I don't see a question box.
All right. I see you, Talmedge. Okay, you there? Here we are. That was my fault. John, Matt. Yeah, it looks like everybody can hear. Will Mr. Hayes be joining us today? Yes, Mr. Hayes is here. You are here today for the story of Mr. Hayes, and it's the story of hope and redemption. And our presenter that I'll introduce is John D. Johnson. He is the, please correct me if I'm wrong, Graphic Division Manager for Palm Beach County, Florida. John, thank you so much for being with us, and welcome.
Great, thank you. Well, this is my first experience doing a webinar, so hopefully it will go well. My name is John Johnson. I'm the manager at the Graphics Division of Palm Beach County, Florida. I've been here since 2002, and I'm here today to tell a story of hope and redemption. And I've asked one of my staff members, Talmedge Hayes, to be with us. And Talmedge has worked for me for the last 4 years. And so say hi, Talmedge.
Hi.
And we are actually, I'm at home and Talmedge is at work. So I've been working from home for the last 3 months. And so everything's a bit different than we've normally been. But we're here today to talk about a story. And this story has a lot of different parts to it. And it's about hiring somebody and working with them to help make sure that they're successful in doing that. So Talmedge and I are going to kind of go back and forth a bit and tell the story from our different perspectives and our experiences, and so that's how we're going to work it here. So let me just get started. We'll have a chance, hopefully, at the end to give some time for questions and answers, and any other comments people might have. Okay, so when I first came to Palm Beach County from Florida, I realized that like other places, we have to do printing, but some printing we can't do. We have to outsource some things. And fortunately, in our operation, all the printing still comes to our department, and then we outsource it for the different other departments. And we have a group of businesses and organizations that do printing for us. And one of those is an organization called Pride. And Pride is a nonprofit corporation that provides training to inmates at various prisons around the state. They have quite a few different locations and do a lot of different activities, not just printing, but furniture, and, upholstery, auto mechanics, and lots of different activities. And the training program is open to taking in work from government agencies like ourselves. And so when I came in 2002, we had already been established customer with them, and they did work for us from fairly often for years and years, and still do. We still do send out work to Pride. My experience with Pride was, calling them up and talking to one of their customer service reps who are inmates, and they answer the phone. They talk to us about, the jobs we have. I got to know a particular fellow named George Roll, who is somebody that Talmedge knows, and very competent individual who could, answer questions on all kinds of printing processes, paper and ink, and everything else. So he had obviously worked there for a while and knew his stuff. And then about around 2010, the Pride organization opened up a new facility in a prison not very far away from our shop, called South Bay. And South Bay is along the southern edge of Lake Okeechobee, which is a huge lake in the middle of the state of Florida. And so I got to know the folks over there, the plant manager, who is civilian person who managed it for the Pride organization. He's not part of the prison system. He's not part of the Department of Corrections, but he's actually an employee. He actually lived close to our shop and drove out there every day. So he would stop by our shop, dropping off proofs and arranging for transportation of things. And then at some point, I actually had an opportunity to go out to the South Bay facility and got a tour. And that was a very interesting experience for me. I had not had any experience with prisons before. And so I, drove out there and parked in the visitor parking lot, went into the main entry building there. And I met the print shop manager there in the lobby. And, we had to get checked through security and all that stuff. And then we walked from there through the prison yard to a building that was just made for the print shop. And that's all that was in there was the print shop. We walked in, and it was just like an industrial building. So we walked in the door, and inside the door was a desk with a guard. And so he checked everybody in and out there, and that was it. We walked into, and there was a print shop, full print shop. They had, a 4-color 40-inch Heidelberg press. They had a 2-color 40-inch Heidelberg press. They had a McCain saddle stitcher. They had a big perfect binding line. They had a whole bunch of stall folders. They had plate setting equipment, the whole pre-press room. They had the classroom, and with a blackboard and chairs all set up for training. And it was, they had 50 inmates there, and it was, a real classroom, and they were actually doing training. They were printing, and the process seemed very thorough, and I was very confident, and the kind of work we got done by them was really good. And over the years, we've made many trips to the facility, and dropping off work and that sort of thing. So then about 2016, we created a new position in our shop, a production coordinator, and my printer too. His name is Tony. He applied for that position, and we selected him for that. So it was a promotion for him, and that left open the printer 2 position that he had, which was a journey level press operator, primarily running our 2-color Shinohara 26-inch 1925 2-color Shinohara offset press. So that's when I basically got the idea that, if we ever had a chance to give one of these fellows in prison a chance to have a job working in a shop on the outside, now's the time to do it. Let's do this. Let's give this a shot. So I went and talked to my boss, and we went up the line through county administration. Is there a problem with this? Anybody have a problem with this? Can we do this? Is this okay? Are we running into any kind of, rules or policies? And the word came back that yeah, fine, go right ahead. The county had previously removed the box on the application where they typically ask for if you've ever been a felon. Well, that's been removed from our application. It had been for a while, and so we went forward with it. And so we advertised and posted it and all that stuff. So in that process, I decided that I would give Pride a call. So I called up their main headquarters office in Tampa and talked to a woman there who is their outplacement counselor, coordinator, person that works with the fellows that are getting ready to come out, and kind of keeps an eye on them after they've left to help make sure that they transition out into the world again with as much support and preparation as they can get. And so I talked with her, and I said, well, we've got a position here. Do you have anybody? Is anybody coming out? Is anybody just left? Is there anybody that you think would be a good match for a position like this? And if so, they need to apply, and we'll give them a fair shot in the process. So she said that she would see what she had and would let me know. Well, the next day, I got a phone call from Talmedge Hayes. So I'm going to stop talking and let Talmedge talk a little bit about what brought him to that day and that phone call. So Talmedge, you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I grew up single parent household. Dad died when I was 9 months old. So I obviously was looking for a potential father figure, so I started hanging out with older guys. And hanging out with those older guys, we committed 5 armed robberies, attempted robbery, where someone was shot at and someone was shot. So by the time I went to, I got arrested with these adult co-defendants. I was 16, and they were 2 were 19 and 2 were 20. So when it was time to go to trial, my attorney suggested that it would be in my best interest to plead no contest to all of the charges and argue for a lesser sentence. Subsequently, I did that. Was for all of the charges, I was given multiple life sentences without parole at the age of 6. At the age of 17, I went to prison. So when I first went to prison, I figured that I needed to start doing something with myself. I didn't graduate high school, so my first 11 months there, I was able to get my high school diploma. And then I had a desire to really do more. So, I dabbled in doing auto mechanics, but I started working for PRIDE. And the acronym of PRIDE, Prison Rehabilitated Industries and Diversified Enterprises. And so I started in 1995 at Cross City, Florida, doing, my first job was as a vinyl hand cutter, cutting the vinyl for the notebooks. And then I moved on to be a gold leaf printer, hot foil stamping. So I transferred from there in November 1998 to the Correctional Institution, personnel. And I began to work in. Yes.
Can I interrupt you, John? Could you mute yourself?
Okay.
We're getting a lot of feedback, so I'm hoping if you mute, please. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay. So in 1995, I transferred to, I asked for a transfer to Sumter, and then I began working in the print shop at Sumter, working on in bindery, and I did pretty much everything in bindery, folding, fan parting, padding. I've run 2 cutters, the 36-inch cutter and a 40-inch polar cutter, V50 windmill, the windmill, the V50, and I've also was able to move up and be able to, I believe it was 2001, that I was able to start running an offset printing press. So they paired me with another inmate, Sylvester Harris, and he taught me how to actually run a millie. I believe that's 29-inch millie. And then I was able to move over to Oliver 66. From there, I just kind of bounced around and, cross-trained, doing different jobs. I've run, I was able to run the Super Web, which is a 2-color offset web press. I've also run a 4-color Diddy VIP with bindery units. It's big press. It's like you can put like a 19-inch roll on that press. And I've also was able to be on a Heidelberg Speedmaster, which is a 5-color press. I believe that was 29 inches as well. So, learning all of this, I used to do a lot of cross training because PRIDE wants people to cross train and just, learn as much as they can learn. So I have to tell you that when I first started working for PRIDE, I had guys in there that told me, jitterbug, learn everything you can learn while you're in here because, even though you have that time right now, you don't know, you could probably turn this into a career once you're able to finally leave prison. And pretty much is where I am right now. So, I mean, I've done pretty much everything, in bindery. And so, up until like 2014, I was still working in the print shop, but then I also was able to work in the wood shop and clean furniture up and wrap it up and load trucks for the delivery. So how I was able to get out in the year 2009, I saw an article of Mr. Brian Stevenson, the Equal Justice Initiative of Montgomery, Alabama. they were going to the United States Supreme Court to argue that you can't give a juvenile life without parole for a non-homicide crime. So on May the 17th of 2010, the Supreme Court decided in favor of the juveniles, which that meant me, or included me, I should say. So June the 21st of 2012, I was taken back to the Hillsborough County Court in Tampa, Florida, and I was given a term of years, 75 years plus 5 years. So at that time, I was returned back to prison. I had to do like another 4 years. My release was April the 1st of 2016. So after I got, really prior to me getting out, I had affiliation with the A. Brown Ministries, and they actually do, you know, reentry, everything reentry for, you know, people that have backgrounds. And I went to their Ready for Work Hillsborough program. So you know, they teach the, you know, job, what they teach you how to, you know, walk and talk in those in their sessions, and how to you know, interview for jobs. And interviewing for a job was really big on my part, because I came to graphics and I had a panel interview. So during my panel interview, I was actually able to, it was 3 people interviewed me, and my skills, what they taught me at the A. Brown Ministries Ready for Work Hillsborough, was able to, you know, obviously get me the job. So 22 days after I was out, I was able to get my high school, my driver's license. 89 days after I was released, I started this job here in graphics. So even prior to and after me, you know, leaving prison, I've had a lot of people from all walks of life tell me that, look, if you need anything, I've got business cards. I got stacks of them, business cards. Here, just you know, give me a call. Give me a call. You know, people from different ministries and just really all walks of life. So, kind of dropped the gun. I actually was in prison from 1989 to my release of 2016. So that was a total of 9,894 days, which is 27 years. And due to the 75-year sentence, all of the game time that I accumulated 48 years of game time, which is pretty much they you know, say, well, we can be released, we can release you on this date. So I still stay in contact with so many contacts of people that, you know, want to be of assistance to me in my transition. And I knew that once I came to this county, I needed to find housing. So after my release, I was living with my sister in Brandon, Florida. So she helped me, you know, help me along. But my transition to this county, I was looking for a place to stay. So the Lord's Place of Palm Beach County offered me a place to stay, a place to live rent free for up to a year. Miss Diana Stanley is the CEO of the Lord's Place. It's a non-for-profit. So I was able to live rent free for a year. And, you know, when I first started, I actually was putting my bicycle on the bus. I was putting my bicycle on the bus and, you know, riding around to you know, to the job. But I caught the bus for probably about I don't know, maybe 3 months, 2 or 3 months, until I had some generous people give me the opportunity to help purchase a car. They gave me a loan. And so obviously I repaid the loan by now, but that helped me with more of independence, I should say. So, you know, during my time now, I'm thankful that I'm independent. I'm able to go out and talk to at-risk youth. It's like 3 different programs that I go to. Ricky Aiken of the Inner City Innovators. He's always talking about bringing good to the hood, and if about the change, or those or the people who want to see change, if they need to change, they need to lead it. I Pahokee. Anquan Bolden has a balanced living mentorship as well. So I'll go out and talk to some of their at-risk youth out there as well. And then in Delray Beach, Florida, Emmanuel Dupree Jackson, he has a program as well, after school program where he talks to at-risk youth, and his is an EJS project. So those are some of the things that I do with my free time, as well as, just go try to, say some inspirational things to different people to try to keep these, young guys, boys and girls, from, leading the life that I led.
So Talmedge, let me jump in here a bit. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell a little bit more about the process of hiring Talmedge. So once we got the job notice out and got applications in, we had 100 applications for this job. The Human Resources Department whittled that list down to 8 candidates who met the qualifications that we were looking for, and we scheduled interviews for those 8 people. Talmedge being one of those. In fact, he was the last one we interviewed of the 8. And it was, we interviewed a number of, 8 different people. Some of them were like, how did they ever get through the process and into the actual interview? But some people know how to fill out forms, I guess. But we had several people who had been, worked in the newspaper industry, running newspaper presses. But when I asked them about, tell me what a Pantone color is and how you use it, a lot of people had no idea what that was. And so when Talmedge came in the room, he was the only person that actually wore, a tie and a suit coat. He spoke well. He, could answer the questions about printing processes, paper and ink. You could tell that he knew what he was talking about. And the other thing he had was he had a stack of training certificates that thick of everything that he had learned while he was in his training, which was 20 years worth of training at Pride. So there were certificates for every single printing press, every folder, every paper cutter, every printing process, everything was there. I flipped through those. It took a while to go through them all, but he had, had documentation. He had actually learned these things, and it was clear that he had. So it was a unanimous decision on our part of the hiring committee to select Talmedge, and he has been a wonderful employee to have. With the background that he had and his personality, his attitude, his thinking processes are all really great, and he's been a real asset to us. And so we've been very happy with him in this process. So I just want to highlight a couple of things that Talmedge has mentioned here. Now, Talmedge went into prison at 17 years old with a life sentence without the possibility of parole. So he was supposed to be there to essentially, die in prison from old age. And, back in the 1980s, that was not uncommon. It was quite common for, young black men to be thrown away for, getting in trouble. And, that's part of why there's all these people out there on the streets the last couple of weeks, talking about justice. And so we have a very interesting story here with Talmedge, and it's been very blessed to be part of all of this. Now, a couple of things that have happened since he started working for us, and I want Talmedge to talk a little bit about that next. And that is his involvement with the organization that helped him get out. So when he was still in prison and had heard about this Supreme Court decision that juveniles were not, that states were not allowed to give juveniles life sentences, and that an organization called Equal Justice Initiative had taken that on. Well, they contacted Talmedge and said, you fit the scenario here for having your sentence changed from life to something else, and we want to help you. So I'm going to turn this back over to Talmedge, and you tell him about your story with the EJI and what happened while you were in prison, getting you out, and then what's happened with them since you've been out. And that's a big story. So I'll go back to you.
We all need mercy. Yeah, so the Equal Justice Initiative, they provide pro bono assistance to people that are really unable to, get or hire, adequate counsel. So, they definitely provide adequate counsel, and they provide a pro bono, which is free of charge for those that don't know. So, I had lots of, visits. They continued to come visit me and set up my, how they wanted to proceed when it was time to, get a new sentence. And so I add this here: the person that resentenced me is the Attorney General, Ashley B. Moody of the state of Florida right now. So, but after my release, they've been very supportive. They actually have after prison programs that, people that really need their assistance to help them reintegrate, they will actually do that as well. Different programs, social workers and all that type of thing. So I was surprised that on April the 5th of 2017, they wanted me to come up to New York to honor me, and as well as probably like 15 other people that they have helped provided assistance to be released from prison. So I went up, and it was a real great experience. So I've continued to go from year to year, and in 2018, in April of 2018, they opened up the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, which is the Legacy Museum and the memorial. So the Legacy Museum is talking about slavery, and the memorial are the people names of the people that were lynched. They have monuments up there from that they have documented, and even soil. So I've gone up there and participated in the activities that they have surrounding that. And so one thing that surprised me, Brian Stevenson is the author of the book Just Mercy. And so one of my attorneys, which I still keep in contact with my attorneys and others in EJI. So she said, so Talmedge, she said, have you ever thought about being in a movie? I say, no, ma'am. She said, you know, they making Just Mercy into a movie. I was like, no, I didn't. So where are they gonna film this? You know, what's the location? She say, so Brian Stevenson was asked by the director Daniel Destin Creighton that if he wanted any of his clients in the movie. So Brian gave him your name. So she said, would you like to do that? I was like, yeah. So I got the obviously superstar treatment, the 5-star treatment. I was sent up to they came to pick me up from my place. You know, take me to the airport. We went up to Atlanta to, you know, do the filming session. You know, met a couple of celebrities up there. Wow. And so the movie is it came out in all of the theaters on January the 10th of this year. Um, and so for those that don't know, because of what's going on in the world right now, Warner Brothers has offered that movie to free of charge on different streaming platforms. Um, so so that was a real good experience for myself, and you know I've been to the museum and memorial a few times. Um, and it's just Brian has this saying, and I actually have this shirt that each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. So it's like, well, what does that statement mean? And so, you know, if you've never been in trouble before, that statement basically says that, yeah, I've done some things, I just never been caught for it, and I started to turn right instead of wrong. There's another quote, there's a couple other quotes that I actually share, and I forgot to share this. Um, Always do right, it will gratify some and astonish the rest. And the other one, because Mr. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison himself, I kind of adopted that quote as well. As I walk out of these gates towards my freedom, I need to learn to leave all the bitterness, anger, and hatred behind, or I'll still be in prison. So
Talmedge, I'm going to try to show this video clip of the movie here. So let me see if this works. So let me show that.
doesn't sound that great. You can watch it for free right now.
So that was a clip. We'll send you the link to that when at the end, or follow up with that. I also wanted to show some pictures that Talmedge has provided here. So let me see if I get back to that.
Alt tab there.
There we go. Okay, Talmedge, you tell us what these pictures are.
So that's my mom, who is no longer with us. She passed away when I was in 2006 when I was behind the gate. This is one of my sisters, Felicia. That's a sister that I lived with once I got out, and it's my nephew, Willie. I was about maybe 23 or 24 in that picture. I was 18 years old in this picture right here, Cross City. That is April the 1st of 2016. That's my sister, Alicia, in the parking lot of the prison.
On your way out the door.
On my way out the door. This is another picture in the parking lot. That nephew that you see, the really small, that's him again, you know, as a grown man. So my sister, my nephew Willie, and my niece Dominique. April the 1st, 2016. This is June the 1st of 2016, my job interview here at Graphic. This is June the 27th, my first day at Graphics, my first day at work.
You had, you said, I asked you about this job you're cutting here. It was 180,000 postcards, and we had just printed them the week before you arrived, and they were needing cutting, and you were there to, you know, to get started. And I said, "Can you do this?" And what did you say to me, Talmedge?
You're in good hands with Talmedge Hayes. This is when I was running the Shinohara. That's a 4-color brochure from it's for the parks that has, once I got done printed, it has to be, you know, wrapped up and sent out the South Bay, the prison that Mr. Johnson mentioned earlier, to have the final bindery performed on it. Well, that's just me chilling at work. I had to take that picture. This is my first paycheck as an adult. Yes, I was cleaning up my Shinohara for the day. And this is Mr. Brian Stevenson, the man with the plan. I love that guy. This is April the 5th of 2017, New York. So Mr. Brian Stevenson and Eva Ansley, who is Brie Larson's player, Eva Ansley in the movie Just Mercy. They are the founders of Equal Justice Initiative of Montgomery, Alabama. This picture is April the 5th of 2017 as well. Sia Sane. This Sia Sane is a senior attorney of the Equal Justice Initiative, who was the first attorney to come see me, visit me in prison from the EJI. This is part of the festivities when we were getting ready to, you know, be honored, just like before the show. And this is Tatiana Birch, who was one of the 2 lawyers that were actually in the courtroom during my resentencing. This was during the opening of the National Memorial Peace and Justice in the Legacy Museum, Mr. Danny Glover. Mr. Benjamin Crump. Reverend Jesse Jackson. Just Mercy. This is when we were up. That's my dressing room. That's my dressing room. What we were able to go to and you know, change out in the actual costume, the uniform, and I had to actually wear Alabama Department of Corrections inmate clothes in this video, in this movie. That's me in Just Mercy. It's just a cameo appearance, but I'm there. So this was a speaking engagement for the Lord's Place, and they had like a reentry summit, Palm Beach County, and I was asked to come and give my story. And these are all my wonderful, co-workers and, colleagues, that came to listen to me tell my story. And like right over my right shoulder is Miss Lisa Delarianda, who is the director of public affairs. So, Mr. Johnson had to take that to her to, say, well, we like to hire Talmedge, and, the rest is history. I love them all. Yeah, so I just wanted to take this picture as well for Ready for Work Hillsboro. That's one of the programs that, were instrumental in, helping me with my transition. So I just wanted to take that shirt and send it back to them as well. Uh, this is was in the Implant Graphics magazine. The magazine, this is when we first got the DI in the building, and Mr. Johnson say, "Hey, we have a $400,000 machine here. Just you go over there and run it." It's like, okay, and so we have 9 million impressions on that press now. That's the early old set of actually doing it. We're just performing duties. And this was a DI training for all of the folks that are in this picture. It's just me getting ready to christen the machine. Okay.
So, I would just wanted to show some of those pictures there, and hopefully the video came across okay. Talmedge, do you have any closing thoughts here you'd like to share?
Well, I failed to mention, and I'm glad you asked that. So the A. Brown Ministries in Tampa, Florida, had asked me on a couple of occasions to on 2 different occasions to come back to speak to potential employers to try to convince them on why they should hire someone with the background. So I was able to do that, and I think we were successful in when we were, making the presentation, because just because a person has done something, such as myself, I'm going to use myself, done something really bad when I was a kid. The kid that I was is not the man that I am right now. So whatever the decisions I made in the past, I'm not going to make those same decisions now. Um, I did have something that I have a card that I keep, and I'll read from this card. It's actually 2 sides to this card, but I'm going to read this one side. It's called positives. Keeping your thoughts positive because they will become your words. Keep your words positive because they will become your actions. Keep your actions positive because they will become your habits. Keep your habits positive because they will become your values. Keep your values positive because they will become your destiny. Expecting positive outcomes daily. And it says, carry this with you each day as a reminder. That's just one side. The other side basically is your attitude makes the difference. And I knew that basically when prior to me, I was getting my mind right prior to being released from prison, because I knew that, being away for 27 years, I can't do this here by myself. So I need to, try to, rely on the support team. And I know that I'm going to take the initiative to, surround myself with people that have my best interests at hand. Always make today your best day, which I try to do that for sure. Taking pride in a job well done, treating others with respect, isolating your negative thoughts, treating every new task as an opportunity, utilizing your talents daily, doing the job right the first time, expecting positive outcomes daily, speaking well of others every day. It says strive to develop one of the following attitudes daily. So I think that I'm pretty sure that I do my best at that. And hey, I know, and I was told a while back that you can look in the mirror, any one of us, we look in the mirror, and across our head says um, unlimited potential. So it's like that.
Well, thank you, Talmedge. Let me close this with a few more thoughts here. One of the reasons that it was easy to make this decision to hire Talmedge was that I didn't wait for him to show up with his resume in hand walking in the front door. I had been involved with the Pride organization for decades, and they were something I was familiar with. I understood their program. I knew the people there. I had actually met inmates either on the phone or in person. And so for me to make that decision to say, let's give one of these guys a chance, was not that hard to do because I was familiar with them. So my advice to people who are in positions to hire people like Talmedge is that don't wait for them to just show up. Get involved with the organizations that are helping these folks to be trained or helping these folks get transitioned out of the prison system and back into society. Because then you will be more familiar with who these people are, what their needs are, what their possibilities are, and you'll be much more comfortable with making a decision like this. I also have to say too that both Talmedge and I are men of faith, and there's a lot of that here at play in these decisions too. We both know that what's happened here in the last 4 years for both of us is a gift. We've both been given a gift here, and part of what we're doing today is sharing that gift with others. And Talmedge has been very good with sharing about his experience through these at-risk youth meetings and reentry meetings and the EJI and Abraham Ministry, and he has a story to tell, and he has been telling it, and I'm happy to kind of be along for the ride here, and that is something that I think needs to also be told. And I think it also is remarkable that the events of the last 2 weeks since the death of George Floyd has really brought the whole issue of justice and of Black Lives Matter and all of those social issues that we are trying to get our heads wrapped around, and in the middle of a pandemic and in the middle of a depression, all of those happening at once. But Talmedge's story, my story, are part of that greater story going on out around us, not only this country but around the world too. So it's this presentation has been in the works for a whole year, so it's not like we just dreamed it up last week. But it's remarkable how we're having this conversation today with all the other things going around the world, around us here at this point.
There's something else I wanted to add.
Go right ahead.
As you were speaking about what's happening in the world, I've also been asked for public safety to come out and speak at different places, engagements or whatever. And I'm also a member of the racial ethnic. It was the racial ethnic disparity team, but they call it the racial equity team now. It's from the Criminal Justice Commission in downtown Palm Beach County. So we try to meet once a month. Okay.
So I think that we've pretty much finished our story here. Can we open it up for any questions?
Well, we've got a couple of comments right now, Talmedge, from Ken Shanuel. Awesome story. Congratulations. We could all learn a few lessons from your story. Mike Lloyd, just a beautiful story. From Deborah Payne. And I'm right with you, Deborah, on this one. Thanks for making me cry this morning. What an incredibly beautiful story. Deborah Pavletic, excellent story, great presentation. Love the words on your card, Talmedge. Is there any way we can get a copy of that, and I can include that with the link to the trailer for our attendees?
Yes, I'll see how I'm able to do that. Because look, computers is kind of foreign to me, and this I'm actually on a laptop now. This is my first laptop, so there's so much to learn about. I'll have some help with it. Yes, we can do that.
Great. John Serentakis says very inspirational. Thanks for sharing. Got another one. We got looks like quite a few. Jacob Wheeler, thank you so much, Talmedge. Awesome story. I teach at a printing and graphics program at a local jail. Can you offer any words of encouragement or advice for my students/inmates? And yes, Jacob, you will get a recording.
Well, yes, they you have to have a mindset. Okay, my mindset basically was, look, when I get my first chance, which is actually my second chance, I was actually told while I was inside of that place, learn everything you can learn. Like I say, learn everything you learn, so when you get out, you can make this into a career. So I am more valuable by learning to cross train in different pieces of equipment, because some folks, they'll get out and say, well, like if the manager or the supervisor say, well, I need you to go over here and do this, like, that's not my job, that's not what you're paying me for. But yes, everything that's inside this building is pretty much my job. But you have to have the mindset that, look, I'm going to succeed, and I'm never going back to that place. So I need to do everything I can possibly do to ensure that I'm being a productive member of society, and I just don't want to go back there, because there are a lot of people counting on me, and you can make it.
Okay, let's go through here. Beverly Landgren says, inspirational. I will be checking out the movie. Michelle Woodrum, way to rise above the system and make a positive change in the world. Matt Nelson, it's a pleasure to meet both. This is wonderful, and I admire your attitude and dedication. And tell me, just for me personally, Matt, your attitude is so wonderful. I love that. It's kind of like you can't change what happened tomorrow, so why worry about it? Or you can't change what happened yesterday, so why are you worrying about it for tomorrow?
Right.
So if we have any other questions, I know there is, as with all, we'll have this on our IPMA community. I just want to, let me do something here. I want to take this moment just to thank both of you on behalf of IPMA, on behalf of our IPMA membership, and the implant community. Not only is it an inspiring story of hope and redemption, but it's something I think everyone can reflect on and do better at. in many aspects of your life. And the holding on to anger and bitterness hurts no one but yourself. It does, because chances are the person you're angry at or the situation has definitely gone by. But if you're angry at a person or a system, they don't care. I mean, they don't care. It just hurts yourself. So I'm just so thankful for both you and John. And I do have to say, do you wear matching shirts every day?
No. This is. Can I put this shirt up? Because
sure.
This is. If they still can see this, this is the shirt that I started to wear.
It says each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. Yeah. I have to tell myself that daily.
Brian Stevenson.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. We so appreciate it. Thank everyone for attending. If you weren't with us at the beginning, we've had to cancel this afternoon's webinar. Martin James is not available. We found out early this morning. We will be rescheduling the session at a later date, and there will be a notification going out to everyone. We apologize for the inconvenience. We appreciate you. Coming up tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Central, we have Designing for Discounts, mailpiece design to qualify for discounted USPS postage. Andy Wright, the mailing service supervisor with the University of Oklahoma, will be presenting that. At 2 o'clock Central, we have Greg Chumley, president of Intelligence Consulting, presenting the IPMA 2020 white paper, Strategic Planning for Implants, Explore Overcoming Planning Barriers. So thank everybody for coming today. Appreciate it. John, Talmedge, so good, so good. I know you were nervous, but you did so good. Everybody, give a big hand. Hands up. Thank everybody. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.